There are very few events in the WWE calendar that capture fans' imaginations quite like the Royal Rumble does. There have been plenty of standout Rumbles over the years, not least the 1997 installment, which took place in San Antonio, Texas, featuring a title change and a popular winner. Today we're discussing 10 facts about the 97 Royal Rumble, including a ton of grudge matches, so stay right where you are. First up, we're talking location. Of course, the bigger WWE events often take place in stadiums, and the 97 installment of the Rumble was no different. The showpiece took place in the Alamodome in San Antonio, Texas, a 52,020-seater with the ability to expand to 60,525. Fans did themselves proud by turning out in huge numbers and almost filling the arena with an impressive attendance of 60,477. The Alamodome is a multi-use stadium which also houses sports such as college football, NFL, and NCAA student athletics. Over the years, the stadium has been home to some of the most iconic Texas sports teams in history, including the San Antonio Spurs up until 2002, and it was also home to the New Orleans Saints in 2005 as Hurricane Katrina ripped through New Orleans. The 1997 event in San Antonio was actually the highest attended in Royal Rumble history up to that point, and they'll be heading back there for the upcoming 2023 Rumble too. Next up, we're talking Ahmed Johnson and Farouk. Ahmed Johnson took on Farouk in a singles match on the undercard of the 97 Royal Rumble, but Farouk hadn't come alone, and you'll probably remember his Nation of Domination crew, complete with wrestling icons such as D'Lo Brown and Crush, encircling the ring, which must have been quite intimidating for Johnson. He had to make sure he didn't inadvertently fall out of the ring, while also taking precautions to be sure he wasn't attacked from behind. The match itself was an epic, and both men brought their all, with Farouk busting out a spine buster. However, Johnson wasn't to be deterred and hit Farouk with the same move, which was the catalyst for the Nation's interference as they believed their man to be in trouble. Of course, the referee wouldn't be intimidated, and Johnson was rightly awarded the DQ win. What do you guys remember about Ahmed Johnson and Farouk? Give us your favorite memories below. We have Gold Dust coming through now. Stay with us. With the Intercontinental title on the line at the 1997 Royal Rumble, Goldust challenged Triple H for the belt. Of course, this was at the start of Hunter Hearst Helmsley's career, and who would have guessed what the current boss would go on to do at that point? Of course, Goldust was accompanied by longtime sidekick and wife Marlena, and Mr. Hughes would escort the game to the ring. This was the second year in a row that Goldust had fought for the Intercontinental belt at the Royal Rumble, having defeated Razor Ramon the previous year. Unfortunately though, lightning wouldn't strike twice for the man also known as Dustin Rhodes, as Triple H got the job done after almost 17 minutes of slugging it out. Goldust would have a long and storied career in the WWE, and only left in 2019 after an almost 25-year-long association with the top pro wrestling outfit. Who was your favorite wrestler in the late 90s? A shocking Undertaker fact now. Stay tuned. The 1997 Royal Rumble is one for the pub quiz enthusiasts among us, as it was actually the first time ever in which The Undertaker suffered a pinball defeat. The Undertaker, of course, is one of the all-time greats, and having debuted back in 1990, it's quite a shock that it took 7 years for somebody to pin him. That somebody was Vader, with the help of The Undertaker's former manager Paul Bearer, who managed to pin the wrestling great to extend the dead man's pretty poor record in the event. As a rookie, Undertaker would fail in his first 3 Rumbles from 91 to 93, and would again fall short in a casket match against Yokozuna in 94. 1995 was a little better, as he managed to get his first win at the event over IRS, and then he scored a DQ win over Bret Hart a year later. Are you guys Undertaker fans? You can't not be, right? We're talking The Rock next. Nowadays, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the biggest movie stars in Hollywood, and has cultivated a personality that resonates with millions and millions of fans around the world. One of the most popular wrestlers of his generation, the People's Champ burst onto the scene in the late 1990s, but the 97 Royal Rumble event was actually the first time the future champ had taken part in a Rumble. He entered the ring, incidentally under the moniker Rocky Maivia, as number 25, but he wouldn't last long, having only just started out in the promotion a mere 2 months before. There was no way the young starlet was going to win the event, and he failed to eliminate anyone before himself being booted out of the ring by another legend, Mankind. In a nice twist, Rocky would beat Mankind a couple of years later at the '99 Rumble to bag the WWE title. Who is your tip for the 2023 Royal Rumble? A stunning Stone Cold performance now. Stay with us. Steve Austin would be involved in one of the WWE's all-time great rivalries with the aforementioned Rock in the years following the '97 Rumble, but he was a little ahead in his development at this stage, and during the 30-man Rumble, Austin actually managed to eliminate no fewer than 10 men, one of the favorites to win the tournament before it all took place. Austin spent an incredible 3/4 of an hour in the ring, taking on all corners in the main event. Those to bite the dust at the hands of the Texas Rattlesnake included the legendary Owen Hart, Jake Roberts, and the aforementioned Undertaker. Of course, you'll remember that Austin was actually eliminated by Bret Hart, but the referee had his back turned and didn't see what had gone down, so Austin remained to eliminate Hart. Do you guys remember this one? Pretty crazy, right? Another Undertaker fact now. Having been beaten by Vader earlier in the evening, Undertaker entered the ring as the final wrestler at number 30, but would again come away disappointed, despite the incredibly favorable position he joined the Rumble from. The legendary wrestler reached the last 4, but would be eliminated by Stone Cold himself. As we mentioned earlier, the Royal Rumble was never Undertaker's favorite event, as he enjoyed limited success in the showpiece, but he would go on to finally win it in 2007, becoming the first wrestler in a decade to win the matchup from the 30th position. The man from Death Valley should really have won the '97 Rumble, considering the position he came in at and the fact that Austin had been in the ring for about a half an hour at that point. Alas, it wasn't to be. Who is The Undertaker's greatest rival of all time, in your opinion? Next up, Austin would fail to headline WrestleMania. Of course, Stone Cold would go on to win the fabled event after a scintillating performance in which he eliminated no fewer than 10 of his rivals, but strangely, he wouldn't feature in the main event at WrestleMania just a couple of months later. Since 1993, every Royal Rumble winner had gone on to feature in the main event at WrestleMania, but not at WrestleMania 13. The title picture was, for want of a better word, quite simply a mess at the time, and with Bret Hart having acquired the title at the pay-per-view event after Royal Rumble, he faced Austin in a no disqualification match at WrestleMania. The WWE Championship would be contested between Undertaker and Sycho Sid instead, with Hart interfering, which meant the title went back to Death Valley with the Dead Man. Who is your favorite wrestler from this era? We're talking Shawn Michaels' health now. Stay with us. Michael was undoubtedly one of the most popular wrestlers of his day, and there was no way he was not going to appear at his hometown Royal Rumble, despite suffering from a severe flu at the time. Of course, he would take on Sycho Sid in the main event, and even managed to get the job done, even though he wasn't quite the sexy boy we all knew and loved. The Heartbreak Kid wasn't going to let the opportunity of being crowned champion in his own backyard slip through his fingers, and managed to get the better of Sid via sweet chin music. You might remember an emotional Michael celebrating with his friends and family in the crowd following the epic win. Unfortunately, Shawn would be forced to pull out of a planned bout with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13 a couple of months later, with some fans and even fellow wrestlers claiming he had faked the injury. Whatever the reason, Shawn Michaels will go down as one of the greatest and most popular wrestlers of all time. Give us your best Michaels memories below. And finally, an unwanted record for Sycho Sid. As previously mentioned, Sid took on an ill Shawn Michaels in the main event of the evening at Royal Rumble 1997, but would unfortunately come up short. Sadly for the man, also known as Sid Vicious, he was unable to defeat Michaels, despite holding a considerable size and strength advantage over him. However, Sid had the chance to right that particular wrong not long afterwards, as he also featured in the main event at WrestleMania 13. Taking to the ring against Bret Hart shortly after, he would finally become WWE Champion, but his reign was short-lived as he was quickly dethroned by Undertaker at WrestleMania 13. The defeat at the Rosemont Horizon signaled the first time any wrestler had lost in the main events at both Royal Rumble and WrestleMania in the same year. Thankfully for Sid, his long-standing record was equaled this year, as Brock Lesnar also managed the unwanted feat, having been beaten by both Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. Who do you think would win between Lesnar and Sycho Sid? As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to swing by again next time when we'll be discussing more cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a big favor by liking and sharing today's video, while also subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.